Hello and welcome to the League of Idiots channel. I'm Robin3 and in this video I'm going to cover how to effectively DPS as the Marksmanship Hunter. Now there's a lot of little nuances you gotta figure out, but first let's go over some of the talents that you get as Marksmanship. So right off the bat, you're going to want to pick your defensive talents right away. Usually this consists of just taking Ironhawk to reduce the amount of damage you'll take. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Chimera to help reduce the cooldown of Deterrence, and Binding Shot to help out with a bit of AoE CC when needed. Now the reason you take Ironhawk and not like Spirit Bond or say Intimidation or some of these other pet talents is because currently the best way to DPS as a Marksmanship Hunter is to take the Lone Wolf talent. Now what this does is you can dismiss your pet and you'll automatically gain the buff called Lone Wolf, which increases all damage dealt by 30% off of all your major attacks, such as like aim shot, chimera shot, steady shot, kill shot. It's all there, but there's a bit of a trick to it. Like you lose your pet, so you have to make sure you're coordinating your new buffs so that they actually allows you to pick up all your buffs for your party. So let's say usually you'd be taking a Moth for the attack speed buff. Well, now you can just select Lone Wolf here and get your Hyena haste. And so yeah, that pretty much covers that, the Lone Wolf talent. But the next few talents that are going to be really important for figuring out how to maximize your DPS is Thrill the Hunt and how it interacts with Barrage and some of your other abilities. Now with Thrill the Hunt, if you can see here real quick, once it procs, it'll make your aim shots a lot cheaper. As soon as I get single proc, shouldn't take too long. There we go. So you'll get 3 stacks of it at start, which means you have only 15 seconds to use them up. So the way that this works into the rotation is as soon as this procs, you want to try and prioritize only Chimera Shot and Aim Shot. And later on, if your target is below 35% health, your kill shot. All these other abilities such as like Murder of Crows or Barrage, you want to save those for after you've already procced your Thrill the Hunt and that's worn off. As long as Thrill the Hunt is up, you want to always prioritize your aim shots. So how does Barrage work into this? Shouldn't you be using Barrage all the time? Well, not exactly. You want to try and use Barrage as a main starter, because if you read here, for every 10 focus you spend, you have a 6% chance of proccing Thrill the Hunt. And since Barrage is 60 focus, that makes it a total of 36% chance that you'll proc Thrill the Hunt. So it's sort of, you're weaving this in whenever you don't have Thrill the Hunt, and you have enough room in between time to not only keep up your Chimera Shot off cooldown, but also make sure you're not wasting any like time on a Murder of Crows or such. So let me give you a quick example. An easy way to show off like how the rotation would be would, let's say the dummy is already below 80% just for this instance, so you're not benefiting off of the extra critical chance you would get from, let's see here, careful aim. So with that in mind, what kind of rotation would you want to use? You want to have, first of all, have Chimera Shot off cooldown, have a Murder of Crows off cooldown, and then if your Thrill the Hunt hasn't procced yet, you want to go ahead and use your Barrage right away and see if it procs. If it still hasn't procced, then that's a slim chance, but you gotta live with it and just try and get up your focus to start casting a hard aim shot. And if you can weave it in just right, what'll end up happening is you'll just continuously proc Thrill the Hunt as you aim shot and Chimera Shot combo, so that you're casting aim shot really cheaply and it'll do most of your damage. So let's go ahead and show off a little quick example. As you can see here, I managed to proc Thrill the Hunt right away because of Barrage. If I didn't have Barrage costing as much as it does, then Thrill the Hunt probably would not have procced. And voila, it procs again. So now I just keep on going with the rotation. Aim shots non-stop, Chimera Shot off cooldown. And if aim shot doesn't proc Thrill the Hunt again, you will notice that Barrage is now off cooldown. But at the same time, you want to make sure you're always prioritizing Chimera Shot. So Thrill the Hunt still hasn't procced. How about now with Barrage? Still hasn't procced. Now this is the unfortunate incident that sometimes happens. You just don't proc Thrill the Hunt. Now this isn't because you might have messed up and you used the wrong skill. you see there's an internal cooldown with Thrill the Hunt that this allows it from proccing way too often. If it just proc non-stop, then what you would see is nobody would ever use Barrage because you'd always have to use your focus for aim shots. Now this doesn't seem to be the case, so Thrill the Hunt must have an internal cooldown, which keeps it from proccing over and over again and getting a bit too unbalanced. So there's that as well. Now as for AoE damage, Barrage fills that niche pretty quickly. It does quite a bit of damage to everything in front. You just got to keep in mind not to face some ads or trash mobs that you don't actually want to pull, because if you see here, if you're just facing the general direction, you're gonna pull everything in the back, even if you only wanted to face this guy. So in that case, you want to keep in mind your positioning and try and position yourself in between you and what you don't want to pull, so that you're shooting into emptiness over here in the background. Now the next biggest important aspect is the opener. If you remember, I said careful aim. It increases your critical chance on aim shot by, I believe it's 60%. Let me just double check here. Yes, 60%. So what this means is you want to prioritize as your stats critical strike as well as haste. Where is it? There it is, haste. Because the more critical strike you get, the more likely it is that your careful aim will get you to that 100% critical hit chance that you absolutely need if you're going to do a ton of burst damage in the beginning. Now, for every critical strike you do with your aim shot, you'll also gain back a little bit of extra focus. Let me see where it is. It should be under enhanced aim shot. Here it is, 20 focus. So this also ties into the notion that you want to aim shot as much as possible, because for every aim shot that you do with the Thrill the Hunt active, not only are you saving that extra focus, but you might even be able to generate even more focus because you're using aim shot. This will lead to your aim shot costing effectively only 10 focus if you manage to crit. So how can we abuse this in the early beginnings? Well, that's simple. As soon as you start, you want to make sure you're always aim shotting as much as possible. So in this case, the early beginning, you'll see me pop Chimera Shot, Murder of Crows, and my ultimate, followed by spamming aim shot as fast as possible. What this will lead to is it'll lead to a chain reaction where Thrill the Hunt will continuously proc, since my aim shots are only costing me 10 focus once it procs. Now if aim shot doesn't manage to proc, well, not aim shot, if these two combinations, Murder of Crows and Chimera Shot, doesn't manage to proc Thrill the Hunt, you don't actually want to go with Barrage in the opener, just because even though it seems like you'll be using too much focus on one aim shot even without Thrill the Hunt, the reality is you'll get a bit of a refund back as soon as it does crit, since your enemy will be above 80%. So let's go ahead and check out how that kind of rotation would look like. As you can see, it just sort of cascades over and over again to the point where you can keep casting aim shot over and over and over again. But as you notice, I won't be neglecting Chimera Shot either. That's because Chimera Shot is actually one of our hardest hitting abilities. Even here, with non-stop critting of the aim shots, well, except for one because I'm not at that cap yet, Chimera Shot still managed to do quite a bit of damage. So, how does the kill shot affect the end of the rotation? Well, it just takes the place of the priority of Chimera Shot as well. So, as soon as Chimera Shot is off cooldown, you're using it. Same thing with Kill Shot. As soon as Kill Shot is off cooldown, you're using it. The only thing you probably won't be using as much is Barrage, because Kill Shot refreshes if it doesn't manage to kill a target, which is very often. What you'll have to do is you'll have to Chimera Shot, double Kill Shot, and Murder of Crows if you haven't yet. Always have Murder of Crows off cooldown as well. If you're gonna use Murder of Crows, you have to be able to prioritize it as soon as it comes off cooldown in between Chimera Shot. Otherwise, you should probably stick to Stampede, which does quite a bit of damage at the opener, but its long cooldown means that you probably won't be able to spam it as much. So as long as you're using a Murder of Crows every minute off cooldown, you should be able to compete with Stampede's damage or even overtake it in times. As a final notice, when you use rapid fire, your priority should remain the same as if you were doing an opener. So make sure you're always prioritizing your aim shots and see if you can string together some combos of aim shots and thrill the hunt stacks. So that's going to conclude this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you found this video informative, and I will catch you in another episode.